Hi everybody, this is Demon Sword. I'm kind of sleepy right now, so that's the coffee. I'm going to go into the concept of what is a demon sword. A demon sword comes from this other concept, but first we'll talk about how swords are made. Swords are forged in Japan because the way they had the ore, it was very impure. To make the ore more pure, more versatile and strong, they had to create better grain structures, which think of them in the metal as like little building blocks. The way they're shaped, the way they align together, you kind of want them to look like Legos. The more Lego-like, where they stack on top, stack next to each other, very flush and flat, the better the structure. Okay? That's the basic sword grain structure mentality. Heating expands it, cooling, such as quenching the blade into oil, will alter the way the structure looks. So, what is a demon sword? A demon sword is revolving around that concept of grain structure, and it revolves around current flow, such as in a circuit. You can look up circuit theory if you'd like, but basically how it works is there's a ground, a current source, and then a closed ring of energy flows through this circuit. Okay, this is just very basic concept. A normal blade you can hook up a voltmeter to, and you can hook up a car battery to it, or I wouldn't suggest a car battery, something very low watt, maybe like a D battery, and it'll run a current through the blade. You can monitor this with the voltmeter and test along the point of the blade. I've done so with this sword, Kaze no Kame Sureya, which a couple of you have translated for me, and I thank you, is Godslayer of Wind. Very pretentious, in my opinion, but it actually kind of makes sense after testing the blade. When I received this sword, it was a bare blade. I then added the fittings onto it myself, some from eBay, cheap lacquer wood, metal suba from another source, and this guard was from another sword I have. I just tore apart this really cruddy sword and hooked on these different pieces. So I have real brass fittings, I have a steel plate, and then this is just piano lacquer wood. I like white, so I thought that would work with this. As you can see, it's well used brass fittings here. The blade itself is made in, I'll do a structure here with my just hand, kind of like a diamond point. Think of it as a diamond. The center core of this blade is actually a medium metal. The edge of the blade is a hard metal, 1095, and the outside is soft. Usually you don't want to do this, but for me I wanted it because doing this made the blade more flexible and lighter because I put in the bohai fuller groove. Usually you would have it medium outside, center soft, edge would be the hard, which is the same as this. By doing the reverse, you can have a structure damage, such as, say, if I hit this against something too hard, the resulting shockwave can crack the medium metal on the inside, but I would not be able to see it because the soft metal would not crack due to this softer 1065, but let's just say that. This means the blade's very flexible. Now, we talked about the circuit. The circuit of the blade is when you, the swordsman, grab it. This is where the concept of you're putting your soul into the sword. You're actually putting a small current flow into the blade. It's how you kind of know it as an extension of self. The extension of self is, say, you, the swordsman, hold the sword, you know where it is, can picture it in your mind, blah, blah, blah. The concept for this comes from the body outputs an electric field. A current, which is up, say this is called the right hand rule. Your thumb is the current pointing up, goes straight out through this. Your body creates an electromagnetic field around your thumb. Okay? When you grab this, you are actually conducting a circuit. Small one, mind you, but you are conducting because your electric field is pulsing there. That then creates a small circuit. Okay? If it's bare metal, it's a lot easier to tell this. You can put a voltmeter and check it. There will be a small register. It's an interesting phenomenon. Now, that's just a normal sword, because the grain structures of katanas allow for this good flow. European swords didn't need it so much to have this great grain structure because the metal itself was already well done, the ore was very pure, so they didn't need to create grain structures and stuff. The blades themselves functioned very well because the steel was very pure. The iron was good, the carbon was added, everything mixed well in European blades. That was their strong suit. Because Japan did not have that good of a pure ore system, they had to create the grain structures. Just going through that again. Not knocking them, but their ore was bad, and that is the reason the katana was developed the way it was. Using modern metals like this one allow for a better structure. What is a demon sword? A demon sword is a blade that produces its own electromagnetic field. Sorry, I've got kind of a cold coming. I'm trying to lose my voice. The electromagnetic field of this blade, kaze, is very small, but with my voltmeter I've registered 0.001. And that is just enough to amplify it when you grab it yourself. When I do this, you actually conduct just a small amount. I can actually feel it. The pulse, it actually gets larger. And this has to do with the concept of electric fields. When you add a current source to a circuit that's already there, you are amplifying the current. So say I'm a voltage source, I touch this, it's already got a current flow because it's already got its own circuit going. Very small, mind you, but when I touch it, I'm adding just that much, which then amplifies the current exponentially, a lot larger than it would be if I was just holding say a basic sword. The field would stay stable. This actually will increase as much as my current. So say if you get angry, your body's going to produce more energy, more electric field. The more angry you are, the higher this voltage I'm producing will go into the sword. This creates a stronger current, which is I. You can look at voltage and current. It's circuit law. Anyway, I'm a engineering student, if anybody didn't figure that out. I try to analyze things and design things for this. When I designed the sword, it was to be lightweight. I did not expect it to have this current. I had used the sword for quite a bit. And I saw this thing on YouTube about a guy using a sword with a taser. It was a taser sword. I thought this was hilarious, so I tried to do it with one of my swords, you know, registering voltage meter. And when I hooked it to this one to try it, this one actually created this huge kind of bolt across the whole blade. And then I turned it off and freaked out, and I was like, why the heck is this working better than, say, my other swords? This one is probably one of my best swords, the blade itself, not this crappy fittings I put onto it. When you add, as I state, a voltage source to a current that's already there, and it's a strong current, say like a taser, you're going to increase the current flow that's already there by a lot, so you can actually visibly see. So a sword with its own electromagnetic field is what I classify as a demon sword. You can try this, checking your own blades. Just take a voltmeter, hook it to a ground source, and check. If it pulses, get a pip 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 pip, you have a demon sword. What does this mean? Nothing really. It just allows you, the wielder, to have a better sense of where the blade is. Your connection with the sword is going to be a lot better than, say, someone with just a standard flow blade. And a lot of Chinatowns don't have good flow or structure to begin with, so it's just a handy little concept I thought was kind of interesting. That's where I came up with the name Demon Sword for my channel. Because I do own one, and I only own one. I have a few swords, so this one is still one of my favorites, just because I feel it allows me the best connection and the best form of use the sword can give me is, you know, be one with the blade. So, Demon Sword out. If you guys want to discuss the concept, or if you guys can go and test your own swords and see if they aim at a pulse, try it. It's a really cool concept. Demon Sword out.